Before you hit buy on that shiny Rolex, let me drop some truth bombs that could save you thousands. If you're buying a Rolex just for the name, just to flex, or because it's the in thing, you're probably doing it wrong. In this video, we're going to be diving into the biggest mistakes that people make when buying a Rolex. And trust me, you don't want to be another victim of the hype. Stick around because I'm about to reveal the secret Rolex gems that real collectors are after. And they're not what you think. Number 1, the Rolex hype trap. Why most people buy for the wrong reasons. Let's be real here. Rolex is everywhere. I mean, if you've ever been on social media, chances are that you've seen a Submariner, a Datejust, or even a day date popping up every 5 seconds. And that's the problem. Everyone's buying these watches because, well, they're Rolex. But here's the kicker. Rolex isn't always the best choice. The truth is, Rolex is mass-produced. It's a luxury brand, but it's not exclusive. Most people buy these watches because they think they're the pinnacle of watchmaking. But the reality is that Rolex has a lot of competition, and a lot of its models aren't as rare or special as people think. If you're just gonna flex with a Submariner because it's the go-to, you're buying for the wrong reasons. So what should you do instead? Look for a Rolex with historical significance. Go for something neo-vintage or with a unique backstory, like a Rolex 1016 Explorer or a Rolex Air King. These pieces don't scream, "I'm rich," but they carry a rich history. And let's be honest, nothing's cooler than owning something that tells a story, right? If you've ever wondered why a vintage Explorer 1 is such a cult classic, that's why. It's not just a watch, it's an icon. Number 2, what do watch collectors really buy instead of Rolex? All right, let's smash the Rolex myth. It is not the holy grail for real watch collectors. Don't get me wrong, Rolex is iconic, but to the true enthusiasts, it's just one piece of the puzzle. Here's the real deal. Collectors are after watches that tell a story, not just flash a logo. Instead of Rolex, they're looking at independent watchmakers like Roland Ferrier, FP Journe, and Chapek. These brands craft masterpieces with mind-blowing attention to detail, finishes that put Rolex to shame, and a sense of exclusivity that is on a whole different level. Watches with soul, not mass-produced luxury. But hey, if you are set on a Rolex, there are a few models that are a cut above the rest. Forget the standard Submariner. Look for rare dials, like a Tropical Dial Submariner, or a birth year GMT Master. These aren't just for show. They are highly sought after and have that rare vintage magic. They've got history and character, and they're going to stand out in any collector's lineup. So instead of following the hype, dive deeper into what makes a watch truly valuable. Rarity, craftsmanship, and heritage. Trust me, the right pieces will elevate your collection and make you the one that everyone's asking about. Number 3, why are Rolex prices overinflated? Here's a dirty little secret. Not all Rolexes appreciate in value. In fact, some of them are overinflated. The Rolex market is flooded with overhyped models that everyone and their dog is chasing. Sure, Rolex has a reputation for retaining value, but you're not guaranteed to make money on every piece. You're paying a premium for hype, and that's not always worth it. So here's the move. Buy vintage. Yeah, I'm talking about well-maintained vintage pieces. These are the watches that hold value because they have intrinsic quality, not because of a marketing campaign. But also, be careful of trends. The Tiffany dial OPs, they were all the rage for a hot minute, but then guess what? Prices have already dropped since the hype peaked. If you want a watch that actually holds value, look for watches with historical provenance, limited production runs, and real craftsmanship. Instead of chasing the current hype, like a Batman GMT, look for something with real history, like the earlier referenced Rolex Explorer 1 from the pre-1970s. These vintage models are far more likely to appreciate in value over time. Number 4, why wrist presence matters more than brand recognition. Here's the thing. Luxury is about how a watch fits into your life, not just how much it costs or how recognizable the brand is. A Rolex Submariner might elevate your status in some circles, but if it doesn't fit your personal style or lifestyle, it's just a flashy piece of metal on your wrist. Imagine this. A guy who never dives wearing a deep-sea sea dweller. That just looks ridiculous, right? But when you wear something that is perfectly tailored to your wrist and your lifestyle, that is where the magic happens. Whether it's a Vacheron Constantin Patrimony or a Cartier Santos, it is all about matching the watch to your vibe. The trick is to look for proportions that suit your wrist. Don't just go for the biggest, loudest watch in the room. Instead, find something that fits perfectly. Trust me, the biggest flex isn't a large watch. It's a watch that feels like it was meant for you. Number 5. The hidden Rolex gems that real collectors chase. Listen, Rolex isn't just about the Submariner, the Daytona, and the GMT Master. Those are great, but they're also overhyped and everywhere. If you want something special, you've got to dig deeper. Consider the Rolex Cellini line. Yeah, I know, most people sleep on it, but these are beautifully designed watches, and they are seriously underrated. If you're looking for something elegant, understated, and timeless, the Cellini could be your perfect match. Or how about vintage Air Kings from the 1960s and 1970s? These are incredibly clean dials, subtle branding, and a piece of Rolex heritage that's often overlooked. They're rare, they're affordable, and they're only going to get more valuable as time goes on. And let's not forget about those rare dial variations. We're talking Rolex Stella dials, tropical dials, and spider dials. These are the pieces that real collectors chase. And you know what? They often skyrocket in value. Don't sleep on these hidden treasures. Number 6, the 3-second test to know if a watch is right for you. All right, here's the ultimate test to know if a watch is really the one for you. The 3-second test. Ready? Here it is. Ask yourself, would I still love this watch if it had no brand on the dial? If you even think about it for more than a second, then it's not the right watch for you. The perfect timepiece should resonate with you on a personal level, not just because it has a shiny name attached to it. And don't forget to think about your wardrobe. A chunky, oversized Yachtmaster 2 might not be your best friend if you're rocking streetwear every day. In fact, something like the Cartier Santos would probably match your vibe way better. On the other hand, if you're in a suit and tie world, something sleek and elegant like a Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Control might suit you much more. At the end of the day, the best watch is the one that feels like it was custom made for you, not just the one that's trending or that everyone's flexing on Instagram. When a watch fits your personality and lifestyle, that's when you know that you've found a keeper. And number 7, the one Rolex worth buying. All right, let's cut through the noise. If you really want a Rolex, don't fall for the typical hype. Skip the mainstream models like the Submariner that everyone's obsessed with and go for something that actually means something. I'm talking about pieces with real history, not just flash. First up, Rolex Explorer 1, reference 1016. This one is an absolute legend. It's minimalist, rugged, and it was literally worn by adventurers exploring the wild. It's not just a luxury watch, it's a tool watch with a killer backstory. Next up, we've got the Rolex GMT Master, reference 1675. This is the quintessential travel watch, a true icon in the Rolex family. The GMT Master has an incredible legacy, and if you want something that stands out in a crowd, this is it. It's got character, history, and functionality in spades. Lastly, don't overlook the vintage Oyster Perpetual from the 1950s and 1960s. These bad boys are the definition of quiet luxury. They don't scream for attention, they just whisper elegance and class. Trust me, an early era GMT Master or a vintage Explorer 1 will always outshine that flashy Submariner that everyone else is obsessed with. Why? Because history beats hype every time. Well, that's all from my side. Now it's your turn to share. Got any insights that you want to share with everyone? If so, drop it in the comments down below and I will be sure to respond to every single one of you. Like and subscribe if you love elegant timepieces. And if you don't subscribe, it means I'm just going to have to wait another day to onboard you. Until next time, keep your wrist classy and your collection legendary.